I want to talk about some of the best Christmas presents I've ever received in my life. Now, my list is going to be a little bit unconventional, but bear with me. Now, one of my favorite Christmases was back in 2008. We had just suffered the financial crisis. And at the time, I had just started collecting coins, and I got really excited because the precious metals market got really hammered by it, especially palladium and silver, and to a lesser extent, gold. So I bought my first 1 kilogram silver bar. I was just starting out in my career, so that was all I could afford at the time. I bought quite a number of 1 ounce palladium bars, which I did really well on. I ended up trading some of that for platinum this past year. I bought my first gold coin. It was only 1/4 of an ounce. It was a Polish 2000 zloty Olympics from 1980, and a bunch of odds and ends. I really liked junk silver, especially some of the moderately rarer silver coins like the Walking Liberty $50. I figured if I wasn't terribly right about silver, I would imagine they would hold up value a whole lot better than a silver bar, right? And so I really took advantage of the financial markets in 2008. In Chinese, we have a proverb called 趁火打劫, looting a burning house, when you take advantage of the market. Okay, in 2010, I spent Christmas by myself because I had just broken out of an abusive relationship. And I really liked it. I drove home to my family in Pittsburgh. I drove to a coin show in New York City. I was living in Rochester, New York at the time. And I went out to Christmas festivities by myself. I went to see a few movies, if I remember correctly, among other things. And I really learned that life goes on without a partner. And that was one of the best Christmas presents I ever got. I actually got it early in the year. It was June of 2010 when I went out by myself for the first time in my life. But that Christmas was when I really started to enjoy doing it. Now, 2013, now I'm living in New York. I took a bus home to Rochester, New York to see a new girlfriend. And, once you've learned that life can go on without the girl, it really changes the dynamics of relationships with a partner when you do get involved in them. I hate to mention how it changes the dynamics. I'll let you play with that. If you enjoy going out by yourself, you'll enjoy your relationship with the partner a whole lot better too. Let's just put it that way. So Christmas 2013, I take a bus home to go see my girlfriend, and I had rented a car for the trip, and the two of us just got stuck in traffic along what road is that? The Interstate 490. We had a good time, even though we were stuck in traffic. In 2016, I went to Taiwan to compete in the TCGA, Taiwan Computer Gaming Association conference, and I won a gold medal for the AI for the game of Chinese checkers. It was the 5th anniversary of when I started writing computer games, and I had a good time. I got into an argument with my uncle, though. I went to visit my uncle at his apartment in Taipei, and I got into a serious argument with him. The problem is that during my trip, the Taiwanese dollar was really cheap. It was 33, 34 to 1. I wanted to exchange lots and lots of Taiwanese dollars because I travel to Taiwan at least once a year, right? So I was looking for ATMs where I could withdraw lots of Taiwanese dollars, and I had spent the morning looking for ATMs. And finally, I get to my uncle's home really late. And my uncle was always upset when I get to his place late. He always tells me how worried he was that I was wandering the streets in Taiwan. I mean, he lives there, and he worries about my own safety there. Taiwan is very safe. And he's just overly concerned sometimes. And plus, he's old and he has health problems, and that I made him wait and all that. Okay, so I get to his home like an hour late, and I'm trying to prep myself for how I'm going to explain to him. I knew he liked financial markets and investing and all that. And so I thought if I bragged to him about how much Taiwanese dollars I got for really cheap, I thought he would forgive me. So I knock on his door and I go, look at all this Taiwanese dollar I just withdrew from the ATM. There was about 50,000 Taiwanese dollars, if I remember correctly. A little over $1,000 US. And my uncle was even more upset by that remark. And he says, are you serious? That's all you did? And he told me that our time on Earth is very limited. And you can't take your money with you when you go, right? He told me that he's 70 years old. How many times can I expect to see him again? And I'm going to miss out just to save $200 at most. He was doing the mental math with me. And I felt really embarrassed by that. But you know what? The fact that we argued kind of made a lasting memory, right? The only reason that I'm still talking about that trip 5 years later is because we made a memory arguing with each other, right? He's still alive, by the way. He's still in good health. And the only reason that I remember this is because we argued over it. So that's good. That's good. Now, last year, I also made a memory during Christmas time. I was living in Wallace, Idaho at the time, and I really felt like I got accepted for who I am out there in Wallace. Here in Seattle, people are very judgmental. If you don't fit the mold in terms of your sexual orientation, in terms of your eating habits, if you say no to food at a Christmas party, you're out! I didn't get that sense of feeling in Wallace, Idaho, and I really loved it. And unfortunately, well, pluses and minuses. I got to go to work in person now, which I really love, but at the same time, I feel a sense of judgment, right? So this week, I end up being the only instructor at the tutoring center where I'm working at because everybody wants to go home to their family at Christmas. But what about the other times when something actually matters to me that others might not feel for, right? So for example, I love to go out to Stargaze. I have the Computer Olympiad conference. You know, if I can fill in for my colleagues during Christmas, why don't they return the same sentiment when I do that, right? That's exactly why I love Wallace. It would work that way in Wallace. It doesn't so much in Seattle. So as you can see, when I think about all the Christmas presents I've ever gotten, I hardly remember any of the stuff that's now sitting in a landfill somewhere, right? I've forgotten all of that, right? And my message to you is stop buying crap.